Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing Mono Red Stompy Goblins. This deck is awesome. It's so fun to just jam a disruption piece like a Chalice of the Void or a Blood Moon or a Disruptor Flute, and then just go to town on combo opponents with awesome new cards like Breeches, Eager Pillager. Let me read this one. 1 red, 2 colorless. It's a first strike 3/3 legendary Goblin Pirate, and whenever a pirate you control attacks, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn, create a treasure token, target creature can't block this turn, or exile the top card of your library and you may play it this turn. So this is a potential mana engine or card draw engine, and it can also take an opposing Murktide and just make it unable to block our incoming attackers. We've also got Broadside, which needs no introduction, probably the strongest goblin ever printed. We have Goblin Rabblemaster, classic aggro creature. We also have Goblin Ringleader, classic value engine. And we've got Muxus, the granddaddy of them all, at the top of the curve, who can put everything in. But let's take a look at some of these other new cards in here. We've got General Kreat, the Bolt Bringer. This is pretty awesome because it's direct damage on a goblin. So it's 2 colorless and 1 red for a 2/2 Goblin Soldier Legendary. Whenever one or more goblins you control attack, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. Whenever another creature you control enters, General Kreat deals 1 damage to each opponent. So it's not targeted, but it is direct damage. And essentially you can bleed your opponent out even if they have a lot of blockers, and this can help you get the last few points. We also have Howlsquad Heavy, by far my favorite goblin in this deck. It's just so versatile. So it's 2 colorless, 1 red for a 2/3 Goblin Mercenary. Start your engines. That's right, this is a race car set card. Other goblins you control have haste. That is huge, giving every goblin haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. That token attacks this combat if able. So it's not as restricted as Rabblemaster, making it attack always. And then it has max speed tap, add 1 red mana for each goblin you control. That is an insane ability, and it will come up a lot. I played a league before this. Unfortunately, my audio video stuff was screwed up, but I did 3-2 the league, and Howlsquad Heavy was a huge part of that. We also have 4 Fury. I'm a huge believer in just free interaction. This is great against Tomio and stuff like that. And then, of course, in the sideboard, we've got 4 Fairy Macabre to deal with opposing graveyard shenanigans, and we have 3 Goblin Trash Masters. This card is really cool because it buffs your squad, but it also makes it so you can sacrifice any goblin, including these little pissant goblins that are being generated by your Howlsquad, your Goblin Rabblemaster, and your General Kreat, and you can destroy an artifact with that. So this can potentially hit the table and just blow up an opposing board if we've got enough tokens lying around. I'm very excited to potentially get Muxus out and just go crazy. One note about this build is that you'll note I'm not playing what many people would consider like a key goblin in Goblins decks, which is Goblin Matron. I don't think she's good enough, frankly. I don't think paying 3 mana for a 1/1 that searches is good enough. Let's just play 4 of everything and not have to search for anything. And let's instead play creatures that can potentially end the game on their own and aren't susceptible to Bowmasters and stuff like that. That's my philosophy. So this is my own brew, but this is a well-established archetype with a long history, of course, overlapping with Namesticker Goblin, which is no longer with us. Rest in pieces. But that was an insane card, and we're going to see if we can keep this archetype alive with just the power of Chrome Mox and Simian Spirit Guide and Soul Lands to power out our threats. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against an opponent who plays a broad variety of mainly fair decks. We could open Chalice on 1. We don't do anything else. We do have Fury. If they're on Delver, Chalice on 1 is insane. However, it's less likely to resolve, and it's more likely to be followed up with a Wasteland. Our opponent has kept 7. I think we can do better than this. I'm really worried about mana. This is better. This is a turn 1 Rabblemaster followed by a turn 2 Howlsquad. If we have mana, I'm going to put back a Mox. Yeah, this doesn't have any disruptive elements, but it does have a clock. And really the only main deck disruption we have is Chalice. Okay. So this could be anything. This is commonly in blue-black tempo, blue-black reanimator, black-white aggro variants. Right, so I don't expect them to have days with a Marsh Flats opening, but they certainly could. I think we could put this redundant Rabble Master under there. Howlsquad's going to be better anyway. We could definitely open with Howlsquad. I think it's less likely. If it gets plowed and we draw another one, we can still level up the start your engines max speed thing. Goblin Ringleader is a great card, but we're choked on mana, not on goblins. I'm going to put that under our Mox. Right now I'm going to exile Spirit Guide. And we're going to go ahead and Howlsquad. And then next turn, assuming we can cast a Rabble Master, which is not guaranteed, then it will be able to attack hastily, which will be devastating to our opponent if they don't have blockers. Okay, so we level up to level 2 speed. They fetch. This is probably the black-white. It is red-white. Okay, so I think they're probably on Mardu tokens, which we can overpower if we find land. Not currently susceptible to Wasteland. They put Bombardment in the yard, so it's definitely Mardu tokens. Maybe with black. A lot of them get greedy and play black, but I don't think you need to. There's a Wasteland. That will wreck our subsequent land. Ajani is powerful. They don't have red permanents. Come on, land. Our opponent with the upkeep stop. Come on, just let me see whether I got a land. All right, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, I need to get stuff on the table. Yeah, it sucks because we're going to lose our Rabble Master, but we need to attack. We need to be aggressive. This does not favor us as the game goes on. We are at least going to get a dude out of it, but I'd be willing to bet that Rabble Master is going to get blocked here. So we got our bodies. They can just block one with a Johnny. I do. Do I want to attack? It's basically guaranteed to die here. However, if I wait, it can be a engine. I don't think they're going to double block. I think we keep this back. I mean, they'll just create another cat next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to keep it back. If there's a window where we can somehow like Fury their cat away, and then we can attack with it. But at least we're getting cats this way. Otherwise, we're not doing anything. We're at level 3. We will be able to tap this for tons of mana. So they don't really have anything to do but 0. But if they find like a Velociraptor thing, that would be devastating because then they'd have red permanent. And they'd be able to start blasting our stuff. That's red mana. Amped Raptor, we're dead. I do not think we're going to win now. Plow is the card revealed. They're plowing our heavy. Then they can just 0 and blast this. I think I feel comfortable conceding this one. Sideboard, I don't really recommend any changes here. Fury's fine. Chalice does do work. Chalice on 1 is less impactful than Chalice on 2. If we could ever get to Chalice on 2, that'd be insane. But they are playing like a lot of 1-drops. Blood Moon's not worth it. Since they natively have red, I don't think Disruptor Flute is correct. We're going to aggro them. I don't know if our opponent sideboarded either. They sideboarded just as fast as we did. So unfortunately, this is not a keep with only 1 land. I mean, technically we have enough mana if we go mountain. I don't think we're going to get to it. I'm going to put it back. I'm just going to Rabble Master into Bombardier. Then Bombardier can throw like a Rabble Master creature or something like that. I mean, we could just put back the city. Yeah, I'll do that. So I always lead with the mountain just in case they have a Wasteland. It's unfortunate we don't have any turn 1 play, but we do have good creatures. Our opponent has a ton of removal in their deck. Guide, that's a good creature. Okay, let's go ahead and just play Rabble Master and just... I mean, sadly, I think it is correct to play Rabble Master here. We could broadside here. If we broadside, We just attack for 2, but we don't have anything to throw. Rebel Master, we create the token, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, I think it's correct to broadside here. Okay, is this the cat? It is. Wow, they had the combo. And they haven't even tapped their other land. There's the land drop. Okay. So we can kill the cat. They're going to have 2 energy. Okay, that's a bold attack. I guess, yeah. They want to get us dead too. Oh, we are definitely the beatdown here. Okay, so we're actually not that far away from Muxus. If we had 1 more mana, we could do it, but I think it'd be a mistake to wait around. Because, I mean, if we we draw a Mox or we draw another Spirit Guide and then suddenly Muxus and we win, I think we will win with Muxus. I think I'll just wait a turn. So this comes in. Okay, and assuming they don't have Solitude, we're pretty golden because we just throw the creature that gets made. Okay, this attacks. Now we can activate this, throw our thing at it, and they can't block. They take 2. So they got a cat, but that's it. Let's pass. And I'm hoping that they waste this because that would be great because we'd still be able to play another broadside next turn. Broadsides scale up really quickly and get very scary. Okay, this is the land. This means that they're playing the red-white guy, or the white guy that searches for creatures. Sand bandits or whatever. Okay, I need to read this one. Brotherhood Scribe. This is from the Fallout set. Metalcraft tap, you get an energy. Activate only if there are 3 or more artifacts. Okay, so I don't think it's in here for that. What is it in for? Whenever you get 1 or more energy during your turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Okay, so they can use this to essentially like, yeah, they get double trigger, so their creatures are huge. What the hell? Wow, this is powerful. I've never seen this card. I'm excited. But these are massive, 3/5s, but it's just till the end of the turn. So they can attack and they can buff, but there's no way realistically they're going to be able to race. Are they? So this is 8 damage incoming. I mean, it's a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but okay. No blocks. This is natively going to just be a 1/2, I believe. Or 1/3. Okay. I think we broadside here. We can throw at this dude. I think we probably should. I'll attack with everything here. I'm not going to hold back. I will kill this, and then it's possible they have more energy, but it's unlikely they have enough energy to double do it. All right, so let's think about this. So these all get buffed. This could double block. I could wait and see how they block, because they might double block one of these, but yeah, I mean, they would have to double block this. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and attack. So this gets buffed. It's a 5/2. Now, I think we just kill this Guided Souls. That's an important thing to do. Reduce the material. So taking 9 here. They can't block. It really comes down to whether we're dead on the crackback, and I doubt we are. Let's see. If they get double energy, then maybe we are dead on the crackback. I don't want to throw... Let's see. This is going to deal 5 damage. I could just throw this at that after combat and then just not have to worry about the Guided Souls. Like, that seems very conservative. They're at 11. I think we do it. I don't want to die. And this by itself, they're not going to get energy. Okay. And you might be saying like, well, that would have generated like an attacker and potentially done more damage and stuff like that. This can be blocked easily, whereas these have evasion in the form of menace. Okay, Helios 1. 1, tap. You get an energy. Okay. Voice of Victory. Okay. A Johnny. Okay. Wow. They've got a lot of freaking blockers. That much is clear. They are attacking, which, yeah, no, they're not. Okay. Let's think about this. Come on, Muxus mana. Oh, Fury's so good, though. Yeah, I think we just play out the Simian Spirit Guide. We Fury. We throw. We kind of have to do it after combat. Let's think about this. Because if we Fury after combat, they take 7. How are they going to block here? They're almost certainly going to double block with these casts to kill one of them. The other option is we Fury. We kill 1, 2, 3, 4. And we don't get the bonus, but then we can just play a Simian Spirit Guide and throw that. And then we're hitting for... I think that's the conservative play. I'm going to do that. Leave a comment with the timestamp if you disagree with this play. There is a way that we could just cast the Fury. Actually, we cast the Fury. That's better. This card is so freaking cracked. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Let's do that. And this should simultaneously kill them all so they don't get a flip dude. Okay, the trigger goes on the stack, but he's dead. This buffs all creatures. So I just want to make sure we're not dead on the crackback. I think they have to block one of these. Yeah, they just scooped. I was thinking hard. Like, I can understand. They're like, oh man, he's taking forever. I'm just going to scoop. Because what they could have done is they could have added an energy here. And then they could do it after they begin combat. So they'd be attacking us for, I think, 8. Yeah. And then if they had a bolt, they could finish this off. I don't think we had the kill. Because we can hit for 4 here. Yeah, because they could just double block one. And they would only take 7 plus... They would only take 9, so they wouldn't be dead. Yeah, so I think that was probably a premature scoop. Yeah, I don't see the need for any changes. Let's run it back. I definitely feel the clunkiness of having the 4th Muxus. Like, that was a completely dead card. And here we go. Double Muxus hand. We do have Moxen. We could get a turn 1 Breeches. I don't think they're going to be playing anything that would stop these. But like, we have to ask ourselves, is a turn 1 Breeches into a turn 2 General Kreat good enough? Or Kreat? I mean, that is mana. I don't think they have any artifact removal cards in their deck. This doesn't attack for anything the first turn. They mold. I'm going to keep this. We'll get another card, and maybe we can keep a Muxus in hand. Okay, and they're keeping 6. But like, they have Plow and stuff in their deck. Like, it's extremely good against our deck because, oh, well, that changes things. Because now we don't necessarily need to use both the Moxen. Yeah, I think I'm just going to use one Moxen. And I'll put this Muxus under here, and that way we can hang on to one in case we get to the mid-game. I think I do Breeches here. I think he's almost certainly going to get plowed here. Or bolted. They may not play bolt. There's a lot of text on this card, so our opponent's reading it. All right, we'll pass. If they waste our tomb, then we can just put the other Muxus onto this Chrome Mox, and we can safely assume the game's going to be over before Muxus is relevant. If, however, they don't waste us, we are... I mean, if we drew Simian Spirit Guide, we could Muxus immediately, which would be insane. That would be, I think, a game-winning play with the concentration of creatures we have in our deck. Fury was the critical card in the previous round. I'm very happy with having Fury in here, even though... Yeah, there's the Wasteland. Okay, there's the Plow. Sad face. Well, can Kreat do it? They are relatively low resource. I don't have a choice in the matter. I'm going to play this out. I'm not going to stand still. This does create a body, but that's all it does. Oh, it doesn't create a body until next turn because we don't have a creature to attack with. So you can see this is a very powerful effect, the direct damage, but it is tempered by the fact that you don't get the creature immediately. So if they Plow now, like, we get no value for this. No, this is like the scariest card they could have, basically, because it's like a perfect blocker for this too. Ocelot Pride. We're dead. We're so screwed. Well, they didn't gain life, at least. I would love to get a ringleader. Chalice. Chalice on 2. I'm going to do it, and then I'm just going to hang back. I can't attack into this freaking first strike card. This card is so strong. It's so ridiculously strong. Goblin. And I'm just going to Chalice for 2. Nothing in my deck is 2. So it doesn't negatively affect me at all. But I know that like a lot of their deck is 2-drops. So now, assuming they don't have a way to get lifelink, I feel like if they had 1-drops, they probably would have cast them by now. But they could draw them. They find Guide of Souls. Yeah. I mean, I'm not giving up. But it's bleak. Yeah. I mean, Plow is so much better against our deck than a typical kind of like traditional black-red goblin deck because we rely so much more on threats. I'm going to hold this in case we draw Muxus number 3. Or we draw another land first and they waste. We're dying slowly, but we are dying. We need a Muxus. I don't regret any decision I made up to this point. I mean, they had 2 plows. What are you going to do about it? We take 4. They get another cat. They're still pretty far from City's Blessing. I think Chalice is doing real work here. Howlsquad heavy. Let's do it. Okay, and this has to attack. But we do have a blocker now. This is 3 toughness, which is very powerful here. So we're getting closer to being able to tap this for mana, which is not necessarily something we care about at this point, but like in the previous league that I played, okay, 3 mana, what is this? Okay, Synth Eradicator. Haste. Whenever this creature attacks, exile the top card of your library. Whenever this creature attacks, so we have a turn before it can go. Wait, oh, it has haste, never mind. It is a 3/3, so we can't block it, sadly. Static Prison, you gotta be kidding me. They can play that? This is a card gen. Oh, man. What a brutal card. Yeah, I can't block. Oh, wait, can they not? You may play. I guess they don't get to use energy for it. It's not like the Raptor. Okay, so it's not as bad. But they did get the energy there. Okay, Ringleader is what we want to see here. I kind of want to do it before combat. I am going to play this out now. What could we draw here? Nothing that is relevant, unfortunately. Other than a Muxus. Muxus is the one thing we need to see. Okay, Breeches are... like, these are good cards, don't get me wrong. But I just don't think we're going to live to... They have City's Blessing next turn, I believe. Maybe not next turn. Okay, so we do have to attack. They can just block with Amped Raptor. I think it makes sense to just attack with 2 of these. I don't want them to multi-block our Howlsquad heavy because he gives everybody haste next turn. Yeah, I think if I'm going to attack with 1, I want to attack with both. And then maybe we get lucky and they let one of them through, thinking we have lots of life. No. That was a punt. They both have first strike. That was dumb. Okay, sorry, my excellent friends. That was a total punt. Yeah. Okay, so we're not going to get max speed anytime soon. We're just going to chill. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this. I could double block the Synth Eradicator. I think we just let it through. If we double block, they could have a plow. The energy doesn't do anything for them right now, but they could find that other energy guy. Okay, they're just drawing. That's good. I wouldn't be surprised if we'd lock several cards in their hand. They play another land out. Another freaking removal spell. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they've gotten 4 removal spells. Oh, they're removing that Chalice. Well, that sucks. That probably opens up the dam, but not this turn, next turn. Come on, Muxus. Show me the Muxus. Okay, Chalice. Okay, so let's think about this. We have 6 mana, which is not enough to Chalice again. We don't have good attacks. We could attack with Howlsquad and then... I mean, the Breeches does have haste. We could Breeches, attack, create a treasure, and then we could Chalice again. I think that's what we want to do. And there's a chance that we get through and we get the update to Howlsquad. I'm going to go for it. As much as I'd like to play out Rabble Master, it doesn't really do anything here. They're just going to block it with one of their first strike guys. I can remove the ability to block from one of these creatures. It doesn't do enough. They are going to get the City's Blessing next turn. Okay, so this has to attack, unfortunately. So we'll go in like this. I'll create a treasure token here. Let's see how they block. That gains them life. They take 3, so we do get the max speed boost. We're almost to max speed. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play this. Chalice. They have to gain life in order to proc the City's Blessing. I think we have to take this damage. They're going to pay the energy, surely. They may just give it back. They don't have to pay the energy. Yeah, they just gave it back. So that does reduce their permanence. So they have 8 permanents. Again, I don't want to block. Yeah, I'm going to chill. You might be wondering, like, we could have done something here, but like if they have a plow, it's devastating. Okay, they just get some energy, which doesn't really change anything. It's not legendary or anything like that, so they can play another one out. Broadside. Okay, so let's think about this. I think I just want to exile the top card just in case it's Muxus. But it is tempting to play out Broadside. Yeah, I think I'm going to just... Okay, we get a dude. I'm going to attack like this, and I'm just going to flip the top card. Please be Muxus. Oh, it's a Broadside. That's not bad. Okay, they're still choosing not to block. Okay, max speed is all the way up. So I can go ahead and just play both of these. Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, I can play all 3 of these. And then I will play this one. And then I will play this one. They're not necessarily dead on board because they have a lot of blockers, but we did just present a lot of evasive attackers. Another Ocelot Pride. So if they attack with an Ocelot Pride, they can gain life. Wait, how does it deal 3 damage to any target? Okay, they're just killing that. That's fine. Come on, Muxus. Make my life easy. Holy guacamole, we got it. All right, we got it. This is going to be GG. There's no way we lose from here. I've got 3 minutes. Like, I've been taking my sweet time. Okay. So we definitely, yeah, they scooped to that. Like, we were going to do a lot of direct damage to them. We were going to attack. Wow, that was exciting. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're 1-0. We're up against a likely Doomsday player. This is a terrible hand. Mulligan. I think just Howlsquad into Breeches. We want to get our clock going. We want to get this ticking up in case we have like an explosive turn where we can tap Howlsquad for tons of mana, like we would have had in the previous game had we not just ended it. I am going to keep this. We might actually play out the Simian Spirit Guys just as beaters. They're unlikely to disrupt our mana. We could put back the Chrome Monks, which is definite card advantage, but it is recurable. This actually is kind of awkward because we would need to choose Ape with our Cavern in order to be able to play these out. Yeah, I think the card that goes back is Simian Spirit Guide, and then we just go ahead and Chrome Monks. Opponent kept 7, which is very scary. They could just have the Dark Ritual Doomsday here. Fetching. I don't have to show them what I'm on if I think that they're just going to win. Duras will take our Mox, unfortunately. That is not a commonly seen card, so I don't think I should have played around it. Not that I could have played around it, but like I put back one of my Moxes. I still have turn 1 heavy into turn 2 Breeches. Okay. So I'm not going to show them that that was my draw. I'm going to go ahead and take the damage just to preserve information. If they daze, it's very sad. Okay, they didn't. So we're going to get 1 in. All future creatures, including Breeches, are going to have haste. Breeches will be uncounterable. Next turn, they're looking at 7 damage. So they basically have to win immediately through a Doomsday. I don't think they have the luxury of being able to like Dirtle and do a pass the turn pile. Or if so, they need to at least shore that up quickly. Our opponent's getting a perfect brainstorm with the dual land shuffle. Black, Dark Ritual, Doomsday. Can you win in time? Oh, spoils. Okay, this is not necessarily a win. Their deck is randomized from the shuffle. They went to 6. They have Doomsday, but they're dead on board. So I don't think they can win anymore. Cabal Ritual. They are going to go for it. So we're going to get to see their deck. It's a non-standard deck. Like, Cabal Ritual is not common. So they're dead to Breeches. They have to win now. They have no available mana. They know it's a deterministic kill if they've read my cards, which I wouldn't fault them for not being familiar with the fact that this gives all goblins haste, for example. And that this is a 3/3. But 7 damage on the table. Like, they would basically have to cycle into like LED. I have no idea how they're planning to do this. We can take a look at their deck real quick. I've F6'd for the turn. So because we have Cavern, we don't even have to worry about Force. So they can't Street Wraith. They Street Wraith the 1? What are they doing? How do they win? They have another Street Wraith? Oh, Edge? Okay, and now they crack. They had a ton of cyclers. Because like so many other cyclers, they draw a card. They consider, okay, well, they're going to clean their pile. This is an insane win. I never would have expected to lose from this position. Yep. It's not a clean pile, but I can't interact. So just notes about their deck. If they exile the Street Wraith and an Edge, and they still had a Street Wraith and an Edge, that's 4 cyclers, which is more than normal. Misdirection. I don't think they're going to attempt to bring in any sort of fair plan. Let's take a look. Like, Chalice is very good here. Disruptor Flute's not bad. I like Blood Moon a lot. They're not going to be casting their win cons with that out. We can take out Fury. Again, I have 0... Like, I don't think they're boarding in creatures. I can't imagine that being correct to boarding creatures against our deck. They just need to race us. Like, Barragoyf is nice, but we can easily get around a Barragoyf with all the power we have. We have Broadside to like throw stuff. They can probably presume that these cards are in our deck. I think Muxus is a pipe dream. Disruptor Flute is much better here. So we have gone down 4 goblins, which reduces the usefulness of Ringleader, but I still think it's where we want to be. We could cut a land. Not really something I want to do on the play, though. Yeah, I think we just run it with like this. Like a great opener would be Blood Moon or Chalice on 1. Either of those is going to be insane. This is Disruptor Flute as permission plus a turn 1 Goblin Ravel Master. I think this has to be good enough. I'll hold the Spirit Guide. No, I can't hold the Spirit Guide, unfortunately. Because I have to. I'll just put it under the Mox. Let's see if they force this. If they force the Rabble Master, we're like super in trouble. Okay, we're in. So I think this game becomes very simple. We just attack them a bunch and we cast the Disruptor Flute. And maybe we draw some additional firepower. But Goblin Charbuster, I think, is like a 3-turn Goldfish if they don't have blockers. They could just Dark Ritual into like Barragoyf, which would be... But it would still die to Rebel Master. And we'd have 2 tokens on the table. I doubt they're playing removal. Like, Doomsday tries to win faster than the removal would be relevant. This is the Doomsday. So, assuming they can't win this turn, if they turn 1 us, that'll be epic. Yeah, I mean, that's a good hand. They had a 7-card Dark Ritual Doomsday hand. You get those 16% of the time. Yeah, this is just bad luck on our side, frankly. But they need... If they have like a Brainstorm, they can crack into their pile, start cycling. Okay, and they're very fast at building their pile. So they're a very experienced Doomsday pilot, as you would expect from this kind of record. They did stop to play Reanimator at some point. They are passing the turn. Let's take a look at their sideboard or at their exile pile now. So, I believe they're going to attempt to put... Sometimes they'll like pivot into like Jace, but I'm going to assume that's not the case because it's slower. Let's just count the forces. 1, 2. Okay, there's a force negation. Interesting. Why have that in against me? 1, 2, 3. Oh, no. Wait. 4. Okay, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to Disruptor Flute on their Thassa's Oracle, I guess. Right. I don't want to give them an untap or anything like that. Like, it's possible they have 5 mana. I'm going to go ahead and just attack them a lot. And I don't think they're going to have 5 mana. That would surprise me. So they take 6 here, drop to 3. We can wait till their upkeep. And that way, if they have a second force negation for some reason, we can interact with it. I think the price is very low for doing that. They can't double days or anything like that. We really don't have a lot to worry about, I don't think. And the one benefit of letting them go is that they do have the Jace. They have to do that if that's their win con. Pedal. Edge. What's your win con? What are you doing over there? Edge. They could Jace. And if I had waited, I could have Jaced here. Cabal Rich. Oh, no, they had it. They had the freaking extra mana. That's crazy. All right, I'm glad we captured this on stack. Yeah. Nothing to see here. Wow. Cabal Ritual, pretty powerful card. Like, that was from a Doomsday. They had no graveyard. They had Doomsday. They were able to fill up their graveyard completely. What a genius pile. My opponent is a genius. And they're a lucky genius, but they're still a genius. All right, we're up against a empty table. We get the bye. Our opponent was likely on Omnitel. I was going to mulligan this for sure. We won't get to see what other hands we would have gotten. We'll take the W. See you in round 4. All right, we got a real treat here. We're up against Larson, current reigning European Eternal Weekend champion, and he top 8'd the Eternal Weekend here in the States just a few days ago. Very impressive player. Maybe one of the best living Legacy players. So he's mulliganing. I assume he's on combo. Our hand's fine. Turn 1 Rabble Master into turn 2 Broadside. It doesn't disrupt, it just beats face. We just have to hope that he doesn't have the turn 2 against us. We almost always play blue, so he should assume that he's in for a day's Wasteland. But at the same time, he knows that I play a lot of Stompy archetypes. We'll see. Float a Strand. If this is Nomads, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. So unfortunately, there's no way to throw something you don't have at this. They could just turn to us. This can't attack immediately. I think we Rabble Master. And our next one will be protected. Which may be necessary. When I say protected, we'll have Cavern out to protect Broadside. And Broadside will probably just throw like pretty much anything we have lying around at this Nomad. Because Nomad is the key that unlocks their powerful card draw engine through Nadu. And also their turn 2 potential, but we're probably already dead. I don't need to see anymore. I know your deck very well. It's basically the same deck they've been playing. So normally I would not bring in Fairy Macabre against this deck. I'm a big advocate of not bringing in Graveyard Hate against Breakfast, but they are going to know that they need to go fast. So there's a decent chance they're going to try to go the Graveyard route. At the same time, pretty much we should assume they're going to try to go fast and Muxus is not going to be where we want to be. I think we could bring in Fairy Macabre. Blood Moon's great against them too. This is good. They got lucky and they had the basic planes there. Like, not lucky in that context, but like they will occasionally draw their basic planes or their basic island. That's all the basics they have. So like the Breakfast players in general, Larson, he definitely, he built the deck and he's largely popularized it. He's been a Breakfast stand since before Nadu was printed. Cards that are less important, I think Ringleader is probably less important. Like the notion of reloading just doesn't really matter that much in my mind. And we've already diluted the number of goblins in our deck. Fury's great though. We can bring in I think we bring in the 4th Fairy. He's probably going to expect it. We could bring in Disruptor Flute instead. I think I'm going to bring in a Disruptor Flute. Maybe I could bring 2 and 2. I don't know. I'll watch me die to the graveyard with a Disruptor Flute in my hand. All I know is Fury's like one of the best cards in our deck. There's a Fury and a Blood Moon. And I think we turn 1 Blood Moon. I'm going to turn 1 Blood Moon. Then turn 2 Rabble. This Cavern is going to be really good if they counter the Blood Moon, because then we can ensure that we can stick the Rabble Master, which will at least clock them. See if they force this. I seriously doubt they will. All right, this is basically the strongest thing you can do against Breakfast. Let's see if they have the force. They had the force. It's a force negation. They actually brought force negation in from the board. I don't think they play a main deck. Cavern. Tamio would be annoying as heck, and that's what we're up against. We pitched our Fury, unfortunately. I don't regret our decisions, but now it definitely doesn't feel good. So the good news is, as long as this sticks, which they're almost certainly playing a bunch of plows, we do have something that can attack them each turn. Like this will be big enough eventually to kill a Tamio Planeswalker, even though this body doesn't matter here. Yeah, and breaking by drawing a land is a bummer. It's not like we have a Muxus in our deck to draw to anymore. It's just air. All right, they didn't flipper. They don't have a second land. Okay. Well, these are not good cards. I needn't tell you that these cards suck. All right, and they can't plow us. They can't do anything. They're like stuck over there. They were really all in. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a force in hand, but we're never going to give them the opportunity to force anything from here on out. I wouldn't be surprised if they had the AB in hand and they were just worried about Fury. And they're just waiting to draw a land, so they didn't play out a Nomad. Well, they couldn't play out a Nomad. They could play out a Shuko, though. I'm not going to disrupt the Shuko. I think they may hang back and not actually attack. Because, yeah, they found a land. That's a very good one. I don't think we can kill them in time. They could just keep this back and block one of these. I think that's the correct play. That's what I would do. Are we going to brick? We are not going to brick. I think we do this before combat. No reason to do damage to myself at this point. But definitely reason to play around the days. Okay. They're cracking a clue. Do they find the force? They find the force. Okay. All right. That clue being cracked does mean that we're going to take less, like these Urza Saga constructs are going to be less big. They're at 6. They're going to need something here. That Fury was a great rip. Give me another one of those. And it also means that I think we're lethal before, well, they could just block with Tamio. No. Did they draw a Brainstorm? Is that what we're looking at here? Okay. All right, we got it. Now we have to win on the draw. No big deal. Just losing the die roll against the world champion on arguably like the 3rd best deck in Legacy, behind Karnforge and Blue Black Reanimator. I think there's a high likelihood they try to turbo me here. I'm going to bring these in. These do absolutely nothing against their main plan. Maybe I should bring in the flutes. I can always put them under a Mox. Let's take a look at this hand. Double Fury hand. I mean, we can actually cast the Furies pretty soon. Turn 1, Howlsquad. We have to ask ourselves, they're mulling to 6. I think they're looking for a fast combo. I'm going to mull. I want something disruptive like a Chalice. I'm going to keep this. It's a slow Fury. I'll put back the Mox, which doesn't do anything. We're protected against their fast kills. They probably are holding force. They're mulling they mulled to 5. This is not a lock. This does not save us, but it's better than nothing. I'm going to lead with the Mountain. Next turn, I'll lead with the Caverns. No reason to lead with Mountain. Goblin here. We'll pass. Next turn, we have Uncounterable Howlsquad. And then 2 turns from now, we have Fury, which may be enough, may not. Okay, Urza Saga. So next turn, they could Nadu, and then they could go get the Shuko. If they don't go crazy, Fury might be able to stop Shuko. What is this? Basic Island, respect. Cephalid Illusionist. I don't worry about Cephalid Illusionist. I worry about Nadu. That's the Blood Moon. I mean, we can't cast it. I think we just cast it next turn. There's no way that they can win through a Blood Moon. If they like flashback the thing. Because Blood Moon comes down and they don't have a second Basic Island in their deck. All right. Is this Nadu? We're catching a serious break here if that's not Nadu. They have the combo next turn, but we can beat the combo, I think. All right, so if we Blood Moon here, we just forever have to deal with constructs. I'm really worried about doing that. If we wait a turn, We don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to go to attacks. Attack all. It really sucks because I want to like shut this down, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid that playing Blood Moon is going to result in them creating construct after construct. They may force anyway. And with Fury, we can kill maybe 2 of the constructs. And then we're still beating in. I'm going to go for this. This is a controversial play. I would not fault anybody for thinking this is dumb. All right, you've got an infinite construct machine. Go for it. But you're not going to be able to search. Oh, I don't have freaking Fury next turn. I don't have it. Wait, I do have it. So I can tap the Howlsquad heavy after one of these gets through. And then I can play Fury and blow away their constructs. There's a decent chance they have a force for it. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to attack for 3 here. Because this will put me into... Yeah, it's deterministic. Unless they can like somehow wipe away my stuff, which they shouldn't be able to do when Blood Moon's out. So let's tap this, and then there's a Fury. Okay. They would... I mean, it's not deterministic because they could block with the Cephalid Illusionist to keep me from getting the extra mana. That would be so heads up if he was smart enough to do that. He does do it! Okay. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play the second Blood Moon, just in case he can get rid of it. The other option is... I mean, these are going to very rapidly get out of control. He might have a force. Let's think about this. So if we do go ahead and Fury now, we miss out on the 2 points we could have done for sure. But then they have to start over. And unless they have an artifact from hand, I think we're okay. But if these are 3/3, then we're only killing one of them. And the subsequent turn, then suddenly Fury can't even kill them. I don't think the second Blood Moon does anything for us. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. I know it seems like scaredy. It works. We'll just do that. It sucks. It definitely sucks. They're going to make another dude. But like eventually we will draw something. We have lots of land. They're screwed off all but one of their colors. Next turn we will get this up all the way. So we'll be able to produce mana. So that mana won't be an issue going forward. Man, I would really love to get some business. All right. I am worried that we're just going to be stuck like this and they're going to eventually overpower us with constructs since we sideboarded so heavily. So they should let this through and not trade a construct for it. Okay. And you can hear my kids playing piano in the background, practicing for an upcoming event. Now if we draw a Fury, it's great. This is a testament to the power of Urza Saga. Like, that ruling change made it so much better. And now they can attack with this and create constructs. We really need a Fury now or forever hold our peace, basically. Rebel Master is not bad. Has haste. It's attacking for a lot. Something's going to die in combat here, unfortunately. I'm not going to hold back. I don't think it gets better for us if we wait. So I think what's likely to happen is they make another dude and then they just trade with the Goblin Rabble Master. But they're still taking 4. 5. Well, they can block with Tommy. They're taking 3. Next turn, Tommy creates a clue. Oh, I do think we play this land out. Yeah, it's just like we might hit... We're not going to hit anything, actually, that is consequential. I think we've lost, unfortunately. They get a clue, and now they have a pair of 3/3s. This has to be business. Kira is not bad. They haven't drawn a force yet? I bet you they have. Okay, so we get a dude. I'm just going to attack and try to direct damage them for the last of it. So we're going to do 2 damage to him per turn cycle with her. Or Kreat, not Kira. I don't know why I keep calling her Kira. Next turn they can flip Tommy, which is scary. Okay, there are 3. Next turn they take 2. The subsequent turn they take more. And we don't need to attack through Tommy because just attacking is lethal. And unless they naturally draw a plains and they have a plow, I think we're okay. What a freaking game. Holy cow, this has been so fun and so interesting. I don't have to attack with everything. I can hold some of these black. I only need to attack with 1 to get the trigger and do 2 damage to them. It's also worth noting if they try to attack us, they do leave themselves extremely vulnerable here. They can create 1 body. Actually, I think we might just have it if we attack everything. They don't attack. Can we draw some business? That's business. I don't know how they get out of this because that's 3 damage direct. Force of will. Okay, that's fine. You're still dead to the direct damage here. That's 1 trigger. And then we just attack all, and then the other trigger. We don't even need to attack with these technically, but I think we should. I'm trying to think of why they're still playing. Am I missing something? Is there something they could do here? I'm going to attack like that. And then the last damage. They draw a clue. They have no colored mana now. That was an epic game. I've never played a game under a Blood Moon like that. You got the GGs from the freaking champion. Yeah, beating the champion. Definitely a highlight of this league. Final round, we're up against a likely tempo gamer. They're on the play. They mulligan to 6. I'm going to keep. They've been playing blue-black tempo. The reason I'm going to keep is I think Howlsquad heavy is pretty good here. It might be a case of just float the mountain out there so we can respect days. Because if they're on tempo, they're playing 3 to 4 dazes. At the same time, if they open Thoughtseize, that's bad. But we do have 3 different things we can play out. I don't think I'm going to respect days anymore because it does set them back quite a bit. Wait, I can respect days by playing City first. But now that I drew the Simian Spirit Guide, I don't think that's necessary. I'm just going to get my Howlsquad heavy out. And if they daze here, it's pretty devastating because they're picking up an ETB tap land. All right, we're in. And we get to immediately attack them, getting this up to level 2. I'm liking our position here. It's worth noting they did keep the top after mulling. So Wasteland doesn't have a good target. I actually would welcome them wasting my city. They're passing that back to hand. That's not a big deal. Chalice is really good against them. I think we should take a turn off to Chalice, but I think I'll do that next turn because I want to keep the pressure going. All right, so we get another dude. And this is a good play if they waste us here because they'll be setting themselves back. They might be able to get 1/1 drop out, but then they'll be trapped under Chalice. I do think they're likely to waste us here. That's fine. We actually have all the mana we need in Howlsquad heavy here, unless they push it. That's a great rip. So I'll play that out, and then I'll go to combat. I'm going to attack with both of these. And then once we get max speed, I can tap to play this out and Chalice them, because I'll have 4 goblins. So they could Bowmaster here, trade with one of them. It's not that big of a deal. Well, actually, they can trade with both of them if they want, and then reduce me to nothing. Okay, and they are doing that. That's a heads-up play. I'm not going to lie. That's quite good. Okay, so now I'm just going to Chalice here. Should be pretty devastating for them. All right, and they can play this out if they have a land. Okay, no plays. This could be another Bowmaster. I think I want to play this before combat so I get the extra dude. I know that I did some damage to myself, but I think it's probably okay here. And I'm hoping that they think this is the bigger threat and go after this since I have a second one. All right, we won that game. Blood Moon is good in this matchup. It's not fantastic. It's better than these other cards. By the way, if you're wondering, this is the second day. I went and took my kids swimming and didn't have the so we have a bunch of medleys to so we're playing this final round. The second day, if my energy seems different, that's why. The other thing I want to say is, real quick before I forget, the previous round I scooped against Larson, who was on breakfast in game 1 because they had the combo. I did the math, and there were 3 cards they could have had in hand. So this is like, you never scoop against breakfast. You always make them play it out, basically. Here is the math. So they had drawn 8 cards. I believe they were on the play, and then they drew, and then they turned 2 to us. And they could have drawn Dread Return or Thassa's Oracle or the the Narcomoeba, one of the two Narcomoebas. And if they drawn either of those, wait, actually, they only needed one Narcomoeba. So there were only 2 outs. So, but that's still like a 25% chance that they would have drawn one of those cards. So it's probably slightly less than 25% because their hand was filled up with like lands and comp pieces and stuff that we knew that they played out during the course of that. But that's still a high enough percentage that I think you should play it out. So anybody in the comments who is saying you shouldn't scoop so aggressively against breakfast, there is a fail rate. The combo is deterministic, but there is a fail rate in that they can draw those pieces. Okay. So in terms of going up against this player, I think Muxus is unlikely again. Not really where we want to be. I mean, it is basically GG, but I think Blood Moon will be better. I mean, we could take out... What else could we take out here? Maybe just 2 Blood Moons and 2 Muxi. I think that's a good split. Because Blood Moon is good, but they can get their basics, and it's not that big of a deal. It keeps them on Merc, which is a problematic card for us. All right. This is a Chalice hand, but we only have 1 red source, but we do have Fury, which is quite good. I'm going to keep this. So my plan is Tomb, Chalice. If they force or daze, I can Spirit Guide, but then I don't have red. But I'm okay with that because Chalice solos them, basically. That's a good draw. Yeah, I'm not going to take a risk of them having a Fatal Push. I am going to go for the Chalice. So now we have red, even if we have to burn this Simian Spirit Guide. They should cast something here, like a cantrip or something here. Like really, it could just be the 4 Brainstorms that they cast if they don't have like some sort of interaction. They're seeing what they're going to draw. They've been a Brainstorm, which means this is probably going to resolve. So if they waste here, we've still got plenty of mana. And that also, okay, Engineered Explosives. That's a good card. So they can pop this at their will, but they won't take my Chalice with it, my Chrome Mox with it. All right, so unfortunately, I do need to burn this Simian Spirit Guide because I'm not going to Mox into face-up EE. And I do want to get the show rolling. So I'll play this city out. Now I am going to attempt to Rebel Master, I guess. Because that has the highest damage output. And it's immediate damage. They could force here. They don't. So we're going to get to attack them. The first attack. By the way, if you're wondering around this art, it is not the goblin throwing up blood. It's the goblin throwing up roses. For some reason, it's tied up and throwing up roses. I have absolutely no idea what the lore behind this is. And there are so many different, goblin arts. Why it's this one? They opted to let me connect before they blew that up. That is fine. So now, if they could waste and Fatal Push, they could completely get back in this game. I want to remind you that we've been on the draw both of these games. This is, I think, a pretty good matchup for us because we have a lot of must-answer questions. But if they get like a Nethergoyf out at this point, it completely stymies our offensive. And I'm going to have to use my entire hand, basically, to deploy the Fury and whatever the next threat is, which will probably just be another Rival Master so we can get them dead quickly. But if they play out a big blocker, then Rival Master is not going to be as good as Broadside. Okay. They're opting to not do anything here. Could be an upkeep Wasteland? No? Interesting. Well, I'm going to start off by Chrome Moxing here, and I think we want to get Howlsquad Heavy out rather than another Rabble Master because it has higher toughness and can attack into a Bowmaster, which is what they're representing here. So I will put a Rabble Master under this. Now I'm going to go ahead and make a Howlsquad Heavy. And I will not tap the Tomb because they're not making me tap it. If they waste, I will tap it and take 2 damage. This is a Hydro. Blue Elemental Blast. Hitting this on the stack. Okay. Well, now we don't need to worry about them hitting us with Bowmaster, so I am going to attack with both. We got so many live draws. Ponder. Love to see it. They may be looking for land. They did keep a sketchy... this is a scary opening because I could have just Blood Mooned. But they don't know I'm playing Blood Moon. There's the waste. That's fine. All right. Another Chalice would be fantastic here. Ringleader. I think we broadside here, and we hope they don't have a daze. I haven't given them a daze window yet, but I don't want to just chill because they could draw another Wasteland. Okay, they're probably going to push this or maybe just daze from here so they don't have to surveil. They could do both. Yep, that is the death of that. Okay, this is in. So we're going to attack for 3 at least. They're down to 3 cards. 1 more land, and we have Ringleader, which lets us refill. If they take out our land, we still have Fury up to help us potentially get the last damage in. This is a Merc. How big is it? 7/7. Well, I mean, I could just throw Fury at it. I can't actually do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attempt to Ringleader. I can throw Fury after combat, but I'd rather like try to fill up my hand. I'm not worried about them killing me with this because we've got so much pressure on the table. I really want to resolve this if we can. This is my one window to do so. Yes! That's so good for us. And yeah, we'll take these, sure. I don't think they have stack interaction because they would have definitely used it there. So I will just attack with broadside. I mean, this is not big enough. So what I'll do is I'll Fury. And I guess, do I want a Fury? Oh, they're just dead if I Fury, right? Like I attack all and then I just throw Fury. Yeah, I don't believe they have stack interaction, so I think this is okay. If they do, it'll like if they choose now to daze, it'll be very embarrassing. So we can't kill this, so let's see if this works. So we put the evoke on stack first. It's going to deal 4 damage here. It doesn't really matter. And then good games. That was a 4-1. That was handy 4-1. Like we lost to an extremely lucky Doomsday player who's also extremely good. Or I don't know if they just played Doomsday a lot, they may have just figured out like, okay, what do these types of decks play? Disruptor Flute. We just need a stack that beats that. But it was very well executed. I was very impressed with my Doomsday opponent. The other thing to note is that in a previous league that I 3-2'd, and those games that I won felt extremely one-sided. But the 2 matches that I lost were against One Ring decks. It was a Carnforge deck and then like the blue deck, and they had like tons of forces in addition to One Rings. And I think the biggest threat to this deck is the One Ring itself. Why play this over Moon Stompy? Well, I'm not the right person to ask because I don't play Moon Stompy. I just don't like the One Ring. And so over the next few videos, like really until like I think November, I don't know the date, someday in November, they're going to announce the ban update. And I'm hoping that they're going to ban the One Ring. And they're almost certainly going to ban Tamio if they're going to ban anything. That's probably the most bannable card right now. But they really need to ban the One Ring. That's the thing that's making Legacy really unfun. I mean, like, of course, I could dream that they're going to ban Entomb, but who knows whether that's ever going to happen. And then, you know, Nadu is annoying, but he's beatable. I mean, he never even made an appearance because our opponents just never had the mana because we killed them too quickly or we interacted too quickly with Blood Moon. So, you know, I don't really want to play any cards that are going to get banned. So you're going to see a lot of Stompy because this is an archetype that none of these cards are going to get banned. You're going to see like probably Blue-Red Delver because that doesn't need to play Tamio and it can still win. I'm going to record that like immediately after this video. I'm going to try my hand at Blue-Red Delver again. I've published a lot of Blue-Red Delver lists. So again, I just want to emphasize you're going to see fewer decks with Tamio. You're going to see fewer decks like no decks with One Ring, no decks with Entomb, obviously. And probably not any Nadu, although like there's just not any point in getting good at Nadu decks. And they do require skill, even though they're annoying. And Nadu is, there's a lot of dexterity, I guess. Clicking things quickly, figuring out like when to go for it. You know, it's a card that is highly dazeable, highly pyroblastable. But I just don't see any point in getting good at it if it's maybe going to get banned. And the Tamio play patterns, I've been playing Tamio in practically every deck I've played for the last year and a half. So there's not any point in getting better at that. And again, One Ring, I just think it's a dumb card that doesn't really require any skill. Count to 4 mana and then win the game, basically. I know it's not exactly like that, but yeah, yeah, I'm just not interested in playing those types of decks. So you might be like, oh, but there are lots of no reserve list decks that don't involve, but they involve the One Ring. And, you know, the One Ring is, I'll be surprised if they ever reprint it. It's already been banned in a lot of formats. I think it was an R&D mistake. They wanted some big splashy thing so they could sell a, $1 million one of card to some rapper. And I apologize if you're a fan of that guy. I've never heard his music before. But he makes tons of money apparently and can afford to buy big things. And it's a big corporation. They want to make money. So it makes sense from an economic standpoint to do what they do for near term. I don't think it's good for the health of the format and good for the long-term eternal gamers. But, I that card never sat well with me because it's just so boring. And of course it crowds out all the innovation, but, cards I do like a lot. Let's talk about the new cards. Breeches seems to be very well designed. We got to use, I think, 2 of the 3 modes. The top card, so there was a game where we slammed, and you might be like, oh, you got lucky and drew your 3rd Muxus. Well, we did dig for him with Breeches, and that dig was instrumental. I think we would have lost that game against Mardu tokens had we not used Breeches' ability to dig a card deeper to find that, windmill slam off the top Muxus. Muxus is very good. Again, I'm not sure if he's a 4 of. He might be a 3 of, but, he goes under your Chrome Mox and he gets pitched to Fury. By the way, Fury is so strong. Like, I can understand he's not a goblin, but this card is freaking cracked. There's a reason it's banned in Modern. It's just probably the second best pitch elemental behind Solitude, and it might actually be better, but I don't play enough red to know. But, being able to do disgusting plays like fling this at your opponent and do 7 direct damage for no mana. That was an insane way to close out that very one-sided match against Blue-Black Reanimator or Blue-Black Tempo. By the way, Blue-Black Tempo, just a couple thoughts on that if you're curious and you're still watching. Bosch and Roll couldn't pilot Blue-Black Tempo to even in the money finish at Eternal Weekend. Like, I think the archetype is just, it's a Tomio deck, but it's just outclassed by the degeneracy of all the combo decks. Like, trying to contain combo, I think, is a fool's errand right now, and you really just want to outrace combo. But I say that I'm about to jump in with my Delver list in the next video, so we'll see whether I can contain combo with fair. But this is kind of like a combo finish. If this resolves, you almost certainly win the game. But it's kind of like the One Ring doesn't guarantee a victory, but it is like the advantage bar is like 90% after you've resolved your One Ring. I don't see this as a combo deck, though. I at the end of the day, I think it's like a mildly disruptive, extremely aggro deck. And I don't know if this league, because again, I recorded the league previously. Howlsquad Heavy was absolutely insane in that league. And I think this card is totally cracked. This card just has so much text on it, which I love to see. Aggressively costed, considering all the abilities. The fact that you get a 2/3 body instead of just a 2/2 is very nice in a Bowmaster environment. I'll again, appeal to Wizards of the Coast to make an exception for City of Traders and reprint this thing functionally somehow. Like, print another Soul Land that you can play in the place of City of Traders. Like, this card really doesn't have is not nearly as good as Ancient Tomb, and it's such a bummer that it's on the reserve list, because I would love, like, aside from these $400 cards, I would love to say this is a completely no reserve list deck. And the entire archetype of these Stompy style decks really depends on City of Traders to be able to reliably cast your turn 1 Chalice, which is what you need to be doing right now. Chalice is the card that makes this archetype possible, in my humble opinion. Same thing with Moon Stompy. Like, I understand the One Ring and all that stuff, they're good, but like, Chalice is so freaking strong. And I genuinely think this is the greatest lock piece ever printed, just because Legacy is so fast that everything's 1 mana or free. And the ability to not even we Chalice for 2, I think that was one of the game-winning plays. Is like, I'm really proud of that line where my opponent blows up my Chalice. They spent a lot of resources destroying my Chalice. They can finally free their 2-drops from their hand in that Mardu token deck, and they play a lot of 2-drops. They play Amped Raptor, they play Ajani, they play Voice of Victory, they play Bowmaster. Like, they probably had 3 or 4 2-drops in their hand that they were itching to play. And because we were able to get Howlsquad Heavy up to max speed, we were able to tap enough mana that we could like play something and play Chalice of the Void. And I think that was a game-winning play. So that was definitely the most exciting match. I mean, I'm always excited to beat the European Legacy champion. That is a very cool feeling. But like, I think that Mardu Tokens was the most kind of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat moment of the league. And yeah, like those fair on fair matches will continue to be the most exciting in my mind. But the race against the never-ending Urza Saga against Larson was also a highlight for me. I'm very proud of my play, especially the decision to Fury, even though I was one turn away from casting Fury, identifying that there was like some sort of kind of escape velocity where the constructs were just so big I couldn't deal with them and I was going to lose. Fury just like it cost me a great deal. It cost me 2 cards and a 3/3 double striking body to do that one turn earlier. But I do feel like it was the correct play. I'll look forward to reading the comments to see whether people agree with me on that or whether people think I could have waited a turn. But my instinct was, no, we have to do this now. And if you know anything about me, I'm a very conservative player. Like I don't like to lose to like taking crazy lines. I like to play very safely and cautiously and carefully. I know those 3 things mean the same thing basically. And that's why I use a lot of clock. And that's why I also labor over decisions like, okay, should I really use the pitch cast of Fury and like neglect the value? Like in a vacuum, I will always accept value over tempo. But I think that was a very specific situation where we would have died had we gone for the value. And I'm proud of myself for not being too greedy there. So I learned a lot during this match, this league. This is not a easy deck to play, but it isn't a hard deck to play. I think this is probably not a good deck to pick up if you're new to Legacy because a lot of the play patterns are just specific to Stompy style decks. And I'll continue to recommend everybody just pick up like a deck like Delver if they want to get good at Legacy and really like learn how to win on razor thin margins. But I think that this is a great deck if you just want to have fun. These were relatively stress-free matches and they were relatively fast. So I think this is a great choice if you just want to jam some leagues and blow off some steam after work. And I can understand the appeal of Moon Stompy and, of course, like Initiative and White Stompy and all the different Stompy variants that are really powerful. You're going to see a lot of those featured on the channel. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.